Detroit basketball.
Alright, Pistons fans, so in today's video, we are going to be talking about the game versus the Chicago Bulls. Now, actually, I just watched the first and the second quarter, so it's halftime right now, and I just wanted to make sure I get this video out quickly, so I'm doing it right now. I'm going to give you guys my quarter one and my quarter two notes. Put my notes down right here. I'm just going to give you guys everything that I have. So let's start off with the starting lineup. So tonight, they decided to go with Killian Hayes, Frank Jackson, Saddiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, and Isaiah Stewart over Kelly Olynyk. And then obviously with no Cade, they put in Frank Jackson over someone like Josh Jackson or Hamidou Diallo, which is kind of shocking. I personally would have decided to go with someone like Frank off the bench and then put in someone like Jackson, but it doesn't really matter. It played out well for us so far in the first and second quarter. And also, I do feel sorry for all of the fans who were in attendance, who were expecting to see Cade Cunningham, and it sucks, but eventually we will see Cade. They're just taking the proper precautions with him right now. So with this game, out of the gate, the first player that jumped off of my screen was Isaiah Stewart, man. High energy tonight, fighting for rebounds, playing tough on defense. Just immediately, as soon as the game started, Stu went right at Nikola Vucevic, who is a top center in the NBA, a really good offensive center, and Stu went right at him. He tried his best defensively and he hustled for rebounds. So Isaiah Stewart was the first guy to jump off of my screen. Zach Levine for the Chicago Bulls. Zach Levine is just so nice, man. The Pistons, we tried our best to contain him, and we did for a short period of time, but I just wanted to say that I noticed that Zach Levine is just nasty, man. Straight nasty. It feels like every single season that I watch him on the Bulls, he just improves, man. Shouts out to Zach Levine. He's just a really solid player. Let's talk a little bit about Killian Hayes. A point that I just wanted to mention is that tonight, so far in the first two quarters, he's actually being a pretty good rebounder. He's actually taken a few away from Isaiah Stewart. I don't have the stats in front of me, but right now, it looks like, from my eye test, it's telling me that Killian Hayes is rebounding the basketball pretty well tonight. Now, that was a positive to Killian, but the next negative thing that I noticed about him is just straight up on offense. He'll get the ball, you know what I'm saying? He'll either rebound it or someone will pass him the ball in transition. So he will run in transition, but then he just slows down the offense every time. Every time he gets towards the three-point line, he doesn't attack to the hole. He doesn't try to shoot a three-pointer. He doesn't try to draw a foul. He just slows the game down and tries to pass it to someone else. I understand that that's his game. I appreciate his playmaking ability, but I just wish he was more aggressive. And the fast break, take us to the hole. Be like Saban Lee, Frank Jackson. If you get the ball, try to attack the hole. That's what I wish we seen more from Killian Hayes tonight. From what I've seen so far in these first two quarters, he just gets the ball, runs in transition, and then stops at the three-point line. Jeremy Grant in the first quarter had 8 points, got the ball early, being our go-to guy, as Dwayne Casey said during past media days. He said that Jeremy Grant is going to be our go-to guy this season. And so far in these first two quarters, 8 points in the first quarter specifically. He came out tonight trying to score the basketball. Also, Grant, I don't know if it was either Grant or Corey Joseph, but one of those two guys got a steal on Vucevic, and then we went down a fast break and scored the ball. So that was a good defensive play from our guys. The rebounding in the first quarter was actually pretty solid because Nikola Vucevic, as I mentioned earlier, he's a really talented offensive center, but he doesn't really focus on defense or rebounding. So with him not focusing on rebounding, someone like Isaiah Stewart, and just overall a team effort, Killian Hayes, the rebounding tonight so far has been solid. DeMar DeRozan in the final 2 minutes, he attacked the hole, he hit a mid-range jumper, so he started out pretty slow, but he did eventually pick it up a tad bit. So far, we're containing him pretty well. And also, Josh Jackson, with a minute and 40 seconds left in the first quarter, drew a foul on Patrick Williams, didn't make the free throw, but he did score the 2 points once he dropped the foul. And then the last thing that I got from the first quarter is just good officiating. The refs aren't getting in the way too much. They aren't calling a whistle every other play. So far, it's just been good officiating. So that is everything from the first quarter. Let's move to the second quarter now. The first thing that I noticed, Alex Caruso is just a chippy player, man. He comes in there, he gets in your face defensively. He tries to steal the ball. He tips the ball a lot of times as well. He dived for a loose ball in the play. Just overall, the chippiness of Alex Caruso just showed why the Chicago Bulls pay him that money this offseason. Kelly Olynyk, he had a pretty good second quarter. He had a play where he hit a three-pointer, and then there was another play where he got the ball in the post. He noticed that he has 6'5" Lonzo Ball on him, so he backed him down in the post, noticed the mismatch, and then scored the ball. That was a good play that I noticed from Kelly Olynyk. Zach Levine and Vucevic, they began to cut the lead down a little bit. They went on a 6-0 run against the Pistons, so those two picked it up again in the second quarter. Killian Hayes had a nice lob dunk to Isaiah Stewart. That was a highlight play. I'm imagining that I'm going to see it eventually on the Pistons page on Instagram. And yeah, that's basically everything from the second quarter. Not too much that I wanted to say here. Just a straight back and forth game. The Pistons score, the Bulls score, just back and forth in the second quarter. Now the next clip that you're going to see is my post-game thoughts after the third and the fourth quarter. Okay, so I just watched the third and the fourth quarter. I really want to get to the fourth quarter, but I will speak a tad bit about the third quarter really quickly so I can get to the end of the game because I have a lot to say about that. So Saddiq Bey, he had a really cool block, but they ended up calling it a goal-10, which was unfortunate, but the crowd got hyped, so that was a good play, even if it didn't count. He also had a play where he attacked to the hole and then had a pass to Isaiah Stewart. So Saddiq Bey really in that third quarter, operating one-on-one against players, operating out of the post, attacking to the hole. Just overall, a really strong showing from Saddiq Bey tonight. I just wish he was a tad bit more efficient. I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I could be wrong about his efficiency. He may have had a high field goal percentage tonight, but for what I seen tonight out of the eye test, I just wish he was a tad bit more efficient. But I did like the aggressiveness from him tonight. Zach Levine had a nasty two-hand dunk. Then late in the third quarter, he just began to cook, driving to the hole, hitting three-pointers. I believe he finished with 30 points or more on the night. So Zach Levine, just a bona fide scorer, man. Now let's get to the fourth quarter, the thing I really want to talk about. So going into the fourth quarter, both teams were near 70 points. So it was a really low scoring game, a really defensive game, a battle through and through throughout this entire game. Hamidou had a really good chase down block, but after that play, that's when the Pistons really started to lose the basketball game. The Bulls went on an 8-3 run and really started to put it on the Pistons. I do want to say that the bench mob did come through. Hamidou Diallo, Kelly Olynyk, Corey Joseph, the bench mob. Trey Lyles as well. He had a few plays that were really solid. The bench mob for the Pistons was good tonight. Once we get Cade back, the bench is going to be really good and really key for the Pistons this year. Even if we don't make the playoffs, if we're trying to finish somewhere around 35 wins, as I predict, we're going to need our bench to continue to come through on these types of games. Josh Jackson turned the ball over, but then on the very next play, he had a chase down block. So that was good for him and his confidence. The crowd gave a big pop to him for him being a Detroit guy. Lonzo Ball had a short period where he began to cook a little bit. And now I want to get to the main piece of this, the end of the game. Jeremy Grant. I love Grant, but I do wish that he had better shot selection for the Pistons tonight. There was around 40 seconds left in the game. He decided to drive it to the hole and shoot a fadeaway shot with like two defenders in his face. I really didn't like that shot selection. And then there was another play where he was on the left side of the court and basically did the exact same thing. So I did not like the shot selection for Jeremy Grant at the end of the game. Being our go-to guy, I would have loved to see him attempt better shots. But overall, the game for Grant was really good. Scored the basketball really well. He was our go-to guy early on in the game, but in that fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter, we gave him the ball, and he just had poor shot selection, in my personal opinion. He's not really someone who shoots off the dribble. He's not someone who's going to cross the defender over and then shoot a three-pointer. He's someone who's going to attack to the hole, lay the ball up inside, or shoot a mid-range jumper, and that's what he did tonight, and that's what he tried to do at the end of the game, but it was just a poor shot selection because there were multiple defenders in his face. So that's basically everything from the game. I quickly did want to mention, I know the Killian Hayes crowd is already going to come in. I believe he finished 0 for 6 on the night. And as I said, man, give Killian a good 10 to 15 games. See if he plays well and if he plays poorly. If he plays well, if he picks it up in 10, 15 games or even more games than that, then you continue to let him start and give him minutes. But if Killian continues to struggle, then Coach Casey can decide whether or not he wants to reduce his minutes or make him come off the bench. That will be on Coach Casey. So Pistons fans, this was a very entertaining basketball game. As I predicted, I thought we were going to lose to the Chicago Bulls, and we did lose. I just enjoyed the fashion that we lost. A very close basketball game, very back and forth. So Pistons fans, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Thank y'all for 3K, and I'm out.